Hello everybody, it's me, Sugar Song, as always, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're actually going to talk about an anime series that I actually like a lot. It's also a movie that was made in Japan about this particular anime series as well, and there will be links in the description where you can buy the movies, but if you want to watch the anime series, you can watch it on Netflix right now. So this particular series has a new face. Yes, it actually has a new live action series that is on Netflix right now. I'm talking, of course, of Death Note. Now, I love Death Note. Don't get me wrong, I love this series. I have the books, I have the live action movie myself, and I've watched the entire series. But I've seen a little bit of, differences with the new series that they decided to make on Netflix. The new live action series doesn't look like the right light. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be talking about these characters, and I don't want you to get anything wrong about race or anything. It's not about race. It's about how they actually look. But how their facial expressions are, what they're wearing, how their hair is, basically like that. So if we look at the animated Light, obviously this is the original Light. He looks exactly like the book series does. So we're going to put him aside for a second. Now we're going to look at the live action movie that was made in Japan, and he looks very similar to the Light from the series. Now, I really love this movie. I love how the ending is in this movie. It's a little different from the series. It deals with the same kind of plot, but twisted just enough to where it's like satisfying, especially if you're like a L fan, which is also known as Miyazaki. If you're one of his fans, you'll love this movie. Now, if we look at the new live action show, Light doesn't look exactly like how he did in the other two. He doesn't even look like Light. To be honest, he looks like some kid that would be a punk, or someone that would be out in the back vaping it up, or something like that. Someone that you wouldn't trust. Basically, my non-trusting vibes was going off as soon as I saw the first trailer. I was like, oh, Light does not look right. Now, don't get me wrong, he's probably a perfect, the person that playing him is probably a perfectly nice guy. But how they have him dressed up and how his hair is in the show is like trying to look like Twilight in a way, but they totally are using the wrong actor or something. I don't know what they're trying for, but it doesn't look right. Now, Light is supposed to be an upstanding guy that goes to school and gets straight A's, is on the honor roll, and wants to be in the police force one day, and basically he wants to be an upstanding citizen. But what happens is he finds out that the system that he loves so much is not doing the right things. They're letting out the most worst criminals ever. And obviously, what's the point of putting away criminals that are really bad and them just getting out again with a stupid parole thing? So he starts to lose his way, and then he's gifted the Death Note, where he takes it upon himself to kill these criminals that basically shirked their way out of jail. So he wants to keep himself kind of concealed and not where people will think that he's a serial killer or somebody that would do this. He wants to stay as an upstanding student that is going to graduate with honors. Now, if we look at the Light from the show, which I haven't watched yet, I'm going to watch after I'm done ranting about it, and I will give my notes later about it. But he doesn't look like he's an honor roll student at all. I mean, he looks like he would be one of those kids that are like those skater boys that you see out back and doesn't really care about school and just wants everyone to die. He looks like an emo, but one of those self-hating emos. The best way to describe this guy. And I was like watching the first trailer and I was like, no, 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 every 5 seconds. Because the Ryuk that they use in this particular series looks exactly like the Ryuk from the live action movie. Now, they could have gotten rights to that Ryuk to use him in this particular show, but I was like, they stole him! How could they? They're using the same graphics, just making him darker in these scenes! Like, literally, I was doing that the whole entire time I was watching the trailer. And I was like, I really don't want to see this series at all. It looks terrible. I can already tell I'm gonna hate it by how Light looks. And then I found out Ryazaki L is being played by a black man. And I was like, what? And then my friend's like, yeah, and he like doesn't even stay at home the whole entire time. He actually goes out in the field. I was like, what? And if you know about anything about Ryazaki, he's one of those people that has to stay indoors because of the fact that so many people want to kill him, that he's paranoid at this point that someone's going to find out who he is and just kill him. Whereas, like, if he stays at home and actually gets all of his information filtered into where he's at, he won't actually die as easily as, you know, if you're out in the field and easily accessible by somebody, I don't know, that has the Death Note eyes. Because that's a thing, too. You can get the eyes from the, basically, Shinigami eyes by giving half your life to somebody, and all they have to do is look at your face and they know your name. Now, keep in mind, Ryazaki does leave the house to, like, basically patronize, like, Light, and that was, like, the best scenes, like, with that happening. I just thought it was great. But at this point, he already knew who they were, and he was, like, expecting to go and get these people before they could, like, write his name down and whatever, or, like, kill him, basically, how they kill people. Now, he wasn't sure if Light was exactly Kira at that point, but he knew that Misa Misa was the second Kira at that point. Now, this is, like, not giving away anything, really. It's not, like, yes, that obviously he's gonna find out that that Light's Kira and that Misa Misa is the second Kira. So, like, not giving too many spoilers out. I'm trying not to. Anyways, so who knows how this is going to play out if Ryazaki's actually out in the field and Light Yagami is actually not a upstanding student that basically stays in the shadows and tries to kill people from just the Death Note. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this is going to be. Now, theory time. I have a theory about Death Note, the anime series, the live action movie, and the book, that I'm wondering if it will carry on to this particular series as well. Obviously it will, because we have the Death Note. Now, this is going to be a little bit more spoilers, so be prepared. So, Ryazaki decides to put a live broadcast out of him taunting Kira. Now, it's not actually him. It's a guy named Lynn L. Taylor, and that is actually his real name. He is a convict that Ryazaki found that had a name that had L in the name, so that way whoever Kira was would think that he was L. So, he has it to where Lynn L. Taylor is taunting Kira. So, obviously, Light takes it upon himself to kill Lynn L. Taylor. Now, he actually writes in the Death Note, Lynn L, the letter L, and then Taylor. Now, I double-checked this in my books, and I double-checked it in the anime series, and I also double-checked it in the movie series. I also have a copy of, like, the Death Note from Misa Misa, but it has all of, like, Light's writings in it. And it even says Lynn L. Taylor in there as well. So, there's, like, something that doesn't really make sense. Why would he put the L there. So why did he put the middle name for Lynn L. Taylor when he's never put a middle name for anyone else? Like in the series they have captions that shows what their names are, and I've never seen a middle name for anyone. Like even with like Ray Pemberg, I don't even think he got his middle name from his like badge, and he just said Ray Pemberg, and that was it. Now, he could have got Ray's wife's name, full name, from like the marriage thing, but like even that, if he did use her middle name, it was never specified if he really did, to be honest. He just had her kill herself. So, you know, anyways, and in the movie, he killed her in like amazing way to get into the club with everybody else that was on the Kira case. I think he does that in the series too. He does exactly the same thing. But anyways, I digress from that. So he's never really used people's middle name. As far as I know, all you need is a first name and the last name to kill somebody in the death note. Now, keep in mind, there's Death Note rules, and it does say you have to have their full name. So I'm wondering, would anyone really be dead in Death Note? I don't think so. If you do need somebody's middle name, then, and if he wasn't writing their middle name, then they shouldn't be dead. The only one that should be dead is Lynn L. Taylor, if that is even his middle name to begin with. Who has ever heard of someone's middle name just being a letter before? Now, keep in mind, this is Japan where this is happening, and L could have been like a different kanji or like something that would be more Pacific to write down, but he writes it down in like American type writing in the series, in the movie, in the book. He writes it down as American type writing, and that's the only name besides Nier that he writes down in American type writing. Everybody else's he's been writing in kanji, which doesn't make sense at all. So my theory is no one's actually dead in Death Note at all. Like, obviously we see them die, but they shouldn't be dead. And that's just my theory on Death Note. I hope you like this little theory and like little rant about Death Note. I will give you my notes on the live action Death Note that's on Netflix right now. Like I said before, you can watch the anime series also on Netflix, and I will send a link down below where you can actually go and buy the live action movie that I was talking about. I highly recommend it. The live action movie is my favorite type of movie that has come out from an anime series, because if you know anything about anime, sometimes they don't turn out that great. But this one is phenomenal. I showed it to all my friends and they enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it, obviously. So I'm going to watch this live action series on Netflix right now. You can go watch it for yourself too, and maybe leave notes in the comments or whatever. Until next time, I'm Sugar Song. Bye, guys. Hey everybody, I just forgot to say this really quick, but I do have a new Twitter handle. It's SugarSong at JZ_SugarSong. I did that so it'll be easier to find me on Twitter. And I always post when a video is up on my channel on there. So if you want an extra little zippity doodah for me, I also post other stuff on there as well. Like if I'm too busy to post a video, I'll post that I'm too busy to post a video on there. Let's just give you a little update that I'm not forgetting about you guys. I'm also on Instagram as Jackie Zamoski, which is actually my real name, and you can follow me on there as well. Tell more people to subscribe to me, and there's more quality content like this and other video games coming up. I hope you enjoyed this, and I cannot wait for you guys to learn what I said about the live action Netflix show. You're just gonna have to wait for that, though.